तो आज के हमारा एक सेकंड सेशन में we are only going to discuss this breathing concept. Now mind management के control of thought is very important. It's the main thing actually. Controlling thoughts. तो उधर की संस्कृत में वृत्ति वाला कुछ वृत्ति means actually thought wave, modification of mind is equal to modification of mind, which is equal to thought wave. Modification of mind is a concept exclusive to yoga. Both Western psychology and Western बोलेगा that our mind modifies according to the input from the senses. यदि एटा बोलो अंतःकरण ताहले ओटा modify by as per the input it will change its nature. या पूरी ने बोलो रखने में illustrate करना चेष्टा करছি. It will modify according to the intake. It will change its nature and structure. This modification or warping effect is called vritti. Karmane, everything that impinges on my mind has capacity to modify my mind. It tinges my mind and modifies it. So that is why in yoga psychology, vritti, everything is vritti jnana. Ekameva darshanam, khyatireva darshanam is the law of yoga psychology, which means there is only one way of knowing, and that is through modification of mind created by vritti. Any knowledge of anything or any kind of perception requires modification of mind. ওটা ছাড়া জ্ঞান হয় না. এখানে by জ্ঞান we also mean perception, cognition, all of this. So anything requires vritti. Thought requires vritti. Emotion requires vritti. Sankalpa requires vritti. Modification of mind is an exclusive concept of yoga psychology. এটা ওই লটা লিখে নিন, একমেব দর্শনম খ্যাতিরেব দর্শনম. ख्याति माने वृत्ति ज्ञान के ख्याति बोला. Knowledge born of vritti. This is the only way you can know through your mind. So how does perception become knowledge? Through vrittis. Thought means vritti. Emotion is vritti. सबका एक अंदर classify करेगा. Everything is vrittis. Generally, now we will focus on this vritti concept.
And vritti only leads to our perception.
Yes. Vritti of the object. Now whatever I see, suppose I see this picture. What is happening in my mind is, see, light is being thrown out from that object. Discarded light from there enters into my mechanism. The physical mechanism is as an inverted image on the retina. It goes to visual cortex. ওখানে কোনো রকমের recognition হয়. Recognition is recognition হয়. But actually in yoga psychology, because brain is hardware for the mind. In the mind, a vritti of that picture is created first. That is how, and consciousness is illuminating that vritti from within. That is how I know the object. So the first step is creation of vritti in perception. Now check this out in your own mind and see, is this a very true concept or just it is a makeup? Our mind can modify with respect to whatever we perceive, whatever impinges on this system finally creates a modification within me. And that is illumined by consciousness. That is why I become aware of that object. So it is a very relevant concept with me. If I have to learn to control thought, I must check the source factor. আমার মধ্যে বৃত্তিগুলো কেমন জন্মাচ্ছে, কেমন মডিফাই হচ্ছে, কি হচ্ছে, তার জন্য আমার এই জ্ঞান হচ্ছে। Everything depends on this true knowledge, false knowledge, jnana, viparjaya, सब कुछ। There are 5 types of vrittis also according to yoga psychology. We go into that. Types of knowledge you will get through vrittis.
Is it the, can I take it as that same thing everyone is watching or observing, but they are processing it very differently.
Exactly.
That is because of their difference in vritti.
Yes, yes,
Something
yes.
like that.
Object is same, mechanism is same, but the knowledge is different because of the modifications. Suppose there is deep level memory which mixes up with the perception, then your knowledge will be different. So vritti the jnana according to yoga. If you have a lot of memory about something, it will lead to a bias concerning the object of it, isn't it? Knowledge, right knowledge, wrong knowledge, half knowledge, everything depends on the content of your mind, that is why, and upon the modification of the mind. So the importance of this vritti is what you repeat, vritti, akare, jeta আমরা repeat করি সেটাই কিন্তু সংস্কার হয়ে যায় মনের মধ্যে। Vritti happens in the conscious mind, but sanskar goes and settles in the subconscious mind, which means concentrated vritti is sanskar. যেটা আমরা বারবার ভাবি ওই টেন্ডেন্সি হয়ে যায় না তার প্রতি একটা। It is easy for you to think along those lines. Why? The necessary sanskar backup has been created. So if I have a conscious hold on the modifications of my mind, obviously I will have the capacity to generate my sanskars. Right now? A conscious thought process is the gateway you can say, to the entire mind. Conscious thought process. This is the key to mind management, change. Conscious thought process has to be regulated. No matter what you have within you in the subconscious. আমি খুব fast যাচ্ছি। See, each point is important. Mind management, the conscious thought process. If you condition that, regulate that. Condition that means I mean along right lines. Then you will gradually change the content of the subconscious. You get the ability to do that. ভালো ভালো সংস্কার ওইভাবেই তৈরি হয়। যেমন এই এক্সাম্পল Yogeshwar Aunty Maharaj দিলেন। For those, if you have read the book Meditation and Spiritual Life, you will find it there. Maharaj बोलते हैं कि देखो it is like an ink bottle. Suppose there is a bottle of ink and you want to clean up the bottle. तो प्रथम আমরা কি করি? आजकल আমরা ink bottle using করি না। We are only using laptops. But anyway, if you have an ink bottle and you want to clean it, what will you do? First you will pour out the ink and start pouring water. तो ওটা করতে 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 প্রথমে কালো জলই বেরোয়, তাই না? অনেকক্ষণ কালো জল, তারপর একটু লাইট ব্লু জল, এই সব বেরোয়। শেষে একেবারে পরিষ্কার জল বেরোয়, লং টাইম। একেবারে বটল ক্লিন হলে পরিষ্কার জল বেরোয়। So same thing with our mind. As you keep putting in impressions through the senses, you are cleaning up the ink bottle of the mind. অনেক রকম ওখানে ইমপ্রেশনস জমে আছে, ওটাকে একটু সরিয়ে which means throughout the ink which is already there, then you start cleaning by pouring in good impressions. That is the pure water you are pouring in. তো প্রথম কালো জলই বেরোবে, আমাদের ধ্যান এটা হয় না, you will get bluish water and then slowly light blue water, all this you will get. আস্তে 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 you will start getting pure water from the bottle because পরিষ্কার হয়ে গেছে. So same thing with mind. You go on putting in good impressions through the senses, you will change the content of your mind gradually. But ওই জল যদি আমরা বন্ধ করে দিই, can you clean the bottle? You can't clean the bottle. So initially right exposures and good thoughts, good exposures, elevating ideas, all these are very very important. সেই জন্য এই শাস্ত্রে মতি bhakti, some form of worship forms and all that at home, those are very important for mind management, which was already there in our culture. আমরা systematically ওটাকে সরিয়ে দিয়েছি because we have become over smart. আমরা ভাবি ওটাতে কি আছে, রিচুয়ালে কি আছে, রিচুয়ালে সব কিছু আছে, because it's a way of rewiring your entire system fast. Swamiji বলেছেন great spiritual personages are produced where there is great ritual. It is a way of rewiring your subconscious. So as you go on putting in the right impressions, you will change the content of the ink bottle. This is the whole point. ধ্যানেও এটাই হয়, দেখো আমরা ঠাকুরের চিন্তা করছি, আবার আমি চিন্তা আসছে, আবার we try to do that, একটু সবাই ভেসেও যাই ওটার সঙ্গে, আবার আমরা ওই চিন্তা করছি. At some point you will get a little stability, তাই না? So gradually this process happens. But unless the bottle is very pure, very clean, you will not get fresh water from the bottle. So mind management, when we actually mind management workshops here, recently I can tell you this, in IIT Delhi there was a seminar on mind management in international seminar. There was a supply from all fields, they put in their knowledge on how to, because this is a major problem even in advanced societies, in developed countries. This is the main problem. They simply don't know how to handle the thought process. Our mind has it has not come into their institutes of higher learning what exactly mind management means. They are trying various things, and a lot of Western psychology, as I told you, is based on Freudian thought, which is studying the sick mind, the perverted mind, not the healthy mind. If Freud and Jung and Adler had studied a yogi, had studied a Vivekananda, their psychology would have been different. Western psychology would have been different, because you should study the healthy mind. Perverted mind and the lower level mind will come with such conclusions. You come to such conclusions only. The way mind thinking. That is not the whole of psychology. Please see. There is a way of cleaning the bottle and getting fresh water. And for that, this regulation. See, all of us feel this intensely enough. If all of us feel the truth of this intensely enough, once it generates intellectual conviction, you will be able to transmit it to the next generation, in the form of your children or students, whatever. When enough number of people are convinced about this, there will be policy changes. So this knowledge, that is why it is important. There is a way of changing mind, the content of the mind, and it is available to us. We must only know the mechanics. Vritti niye amra jetai korbo, accordingly our sanskars and memories created. See, according to this very crucial diagram we have. Suppose you say, Nana, memory অনেক কিছু বেরোতে থাকে, আমি আর সার্চ করতে পারি না, কন্ট্রোলই করতে পারছি না, মন খারাপ হয়ে যায়. Many students say this. You don't stop with that. If you keep pouring fresh water, the content of the bottle will change over time. It's a question of time. That's all.
তার মানে মাতাজি এটা তো একদম ইনফ্যান্ট স্টেজ থেকে হতে পারে, বিকজ তখন আমাদের সব থেকে হেলদি মাইন্ড থাকে অ্যান্ড ইঙ্ক বটলে অতটা ইঙ্কও করে না, আমি কি দেবো সেটা তো ডিপেন্ড করে আমার উপর।
It is best done at a young age. কিন্তু আজকাল কোথায় ওই সেন্সিটিভিটি আছে? For about 3 generations, we are out of touch with these ideas. Ideaও নেই প্রশ্ন। And the level of bombardment on our senses is so high, right? Na? See, we are the most empowered generation in terms of communication. Kintu what is the content of that communication? And content which we are absorbing day and night is very debatable, isn't it? What are the impressions we are taking in? How will the mind not be restless? Tell me. Everything will depend on the content which the senses bring into the mind to a great extent. Chaitanya Abras, some along with these workshops, along with those seminars, we give literature which people will love to read. Instead of reading all sorts of things, put a little attention on this kind of literature. Or introduce them to some form of some technique of yoga, form of meditation like emptying mind, guided meditations. এগুলো ইন্ট্রোডিউস করে নিজেই করে দেখো, over a period of time you will see that there is a deep impact in your mind. So there are ways to do this. At least we should know the theory behind it. That there are ways to bring the mind into our hands. और एमन ने जय सारा जीवन I will go by its dictates. I can be a very compulsive mind. So আমার জীবন একেবারে বেঁচে গেল ওটার সঙ্গে, তাই না? দেখুন যারা সুইসাইডস, where they shoot themselves, হাতে গান থাকলে এখানে শুট করে দিবে, because they want this to stop. অবস্থা দেখুন, they are so fed up with the continuous rubbish thought process. They can't bear it. So obviously mind management is the whole thing about human life. You can't experience life fully or remain happy by yourself unless mind is, তাই না? যদি আমরা খুব ভালো জায়গায় ওর থাকি, মনে করুন কোনো আশ্রমে এখন হিমালয় গিয়ে না, মঠে মন্দিরে বসে আমরা ধ্যান করছি, কিন্তু মন যদি এদিক ওইদিক চলে যায়, what's the point? Because your mind is in a different space. It's called Chitta Akash. It is not this Sthula Akash. Mental space in Vedanta is called Chitta Akash. And you actually live there. You live where your mind is. So wherever I put my body will not matter so much. Where I keep my mind is what matters so much. সেজন্য মন নিয়ে কথা, at least this much we should do. We should understand the value of this and condition ourselves into positive thinking. I will go into that because stopping writtis or transcending vritti is a dure vyapar, jogire avastha. But for us normal people, we will want positive, good content in the mind, isn't it? And a state of mind which is perpetually positive, from within my energy comes out. Not that I am frustrated and depressed and negativity grasp kore ashe. Ei avastha nai. So otar jonne I will give you some laws of positive thinking, which are very important. ওটাকে নানা ভাবে ওটাকে এটা করা রিসার্চ করা হয়েছে, it actually works. আর এটা সমাজে লিটারেচারেও আছে, সমাজে এটা সম্বন্ধে বলেছে. So from here, because it is vritti jnana again, I will shift to principles of positive thinking, which will be practically helpful to you. We are handling vritti. positive thinking. How to generate positive vrittis all the time. Because now we know that this vritti creation will determine the experience of our life. Object also is secondary. The modifications of my mind are going to determine my experience of life. So what are the principles of positive thinking? একটা video আছে, the name of the video they are given as Miracle of Positive Thinking. Please watch that video. কেননা ওটাতে এইগুলো আছে, principles of positive thinking. So you have whatever you require, it is there, video আকারে আছে. Miracle of Positive Thinking. Because there is no literature as yet available on so many of these principles. Everything they have made it into videos or everything that was delivered at all these institutes. Everything is there as videos, small videos actually. So the principles of positive thinking, that the very first principle is what I repeatedly think I will become. What I repeatedly वृत्ति बार एक ही रकम वृत्ति उठे আমি ওটা হয়ে যাব. What I think I will become. If the thought is about myself, I will become that. If the thought is about something else or someone else, I will generate strong conviction that that person is like that. আমার মনের মধ্যে একটা শক্ত দৃঢ় শক্ত হয়ে যাবে, because you get enough vritti back up. You invested energy, so it will become truth for you. What you repeatedly think you will become. Check and see if this is true or not. और আমরা সারা দিন এই যে আমাদের thought energy where are we doing? दैनंदिन प्रॉब्लम्स আপনি যে যেমন বললেন, in everyday problems problem হচ্ছে আমরা সলভ করে আবার এগিয়ে যাচ্ছি. This is how we are investing our mental energy. This will just keep us on a very mediocre level. Consciously মনকে উঠানোর একটা টেকনিক দরকার, which means at least the first 1 hour of every morning some form of elevated life, job plan, na hoy puja, na hoy prarthana, yoga, or at least reading some elevated literature. এই ধরনের activity, the first 1 hour of morning after you get up, it has to be done. You know what you repeatedly think you will become. Refresh হয়ে যায় পুরো system if you do this. যতটা করা যায় ততটা ভালো, কিন্তু এটলিস্ট দ্য ফার্স্ট 1 hour. এখন আমার ওখানে স্টুডেন্টস তো ওরা কটায় উঠে জানেন, ইট ইজ সো আনইমাজিনেবল. ওদের অবস্থা কাহিল হয়েছে, কিছু করার নেই. IITs আর নকচারালস, ওরা ঘুমায়, আমরা যখন উঠি তখন ওরা ঘুমায়. They get up at they sleep at 3 o'clock and they get up at 10 or 11 সকালে. রাত্রি 3টায় ঘুমায় ওরা. তো ওদের ব্রাহ্মণত্ব তো সব গেল. নো পয়েন্ট ইন টেলিং দ্যাম ব্রাহ্মণত্ব. আমরা এটাই বলি, ফার্স্ট 1 hour after you get up, at least first ওদের জন্য half an hour থেকে আমরা শুরু করি, 1 hour পারি না. But you must give it to something like this. ওখানে পুরো labs রাত্রি চলে। So they are really, you see the level of work they are doing is extreme. So the level of pressure and stress on the mind also can be extreme without all this knowledge. সেই জন্য একটা প্যাকেজের মতন ওদের করা হয়েছে কি they have to know certain fundamental things and they have to practice certain techniques. So far in 6 IITs I have spoken on all this and ওরা সবাই এই প্যাকেজটা নিয়েছে। IIT Delhi has uploaded it, but they have been able to utilize the ideas. This is what I am telling you. You take as much as you can, as much as you want, and deliver as much as is possible. But you should know. So, the first principle is what I repeatedly think I will become. Unconsciously, if we are thinking about some ajabaja kathana, some criticizing somebody, or after some time, the mind will get frustrated and depressed. Actually, there was no awareness in that thought. It's at a low level, it's at a default church. So getting rid of this is so very important. Chaitanya bringing the whole mind to the conscious state. Chaitanya yoga. To conscious, elevated thinking on an everyday basis. Just following what is coming in through the senses. This will all, what's the point? Our mechanism, high-fi mechanism, deva hoyeche amader. This body and mind can take you to the highest level of consciousness. Or it can reduce us to a very low creature also. আমরা কেমন ইউজ করি এখন হাতে suppose you have iPhone 13 but you are using it like a calculator. This is what we are doing. Even at a sophisticated system like here, where you can raise vital energy to its highest pitch and attain the ultimate. भगवान के लाभ करा जाए एक instrument. ओटा छेड़े दिया, I am using it like a calculator to get some silly experiences from that. So if I know some of these fundamental things, that's why I'm telling you psychology should focus on yoga psychology. Gradually at ASCHI, contemplative psychology is getting integrated into behavioral psychology, into mainstream psychology. We must understand the value of it. It is really invaluable. Eight principles they come from yoga psychology. What you repeatedly think, that you will become. Swamiji এটা কত ভাবে বলেছেন না? Take care of your thoughts. What you think you will be. Swamiji বলছেন. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Thought is really like magic wand. Conscious thought. What you repeatedly do, it has become you. So see, the key is in our hands. Chaitanya Swamiji Bhagwan, you are the creator of your destiny. Through your conscious thought process, you can change the content of your mind, both conscious and subconscious. So this is the first principle of positive thinking. The second principle says, what I repeatedly feel. अभी first one अगर लिखी ना आपने लिखे नहीं होगा. What I repeatedly feel, I will ऐसा संगत लिखा चाहिए. I will experience in my system. बाहर experience ना कर ले हो, I will experience its full impact on my system. Because feeling is very powerful thought. Because it is thought with emotion. যেখানে emotion থাকে, huge investiture of vital energy. प्राण शक्ति, प्राण or emotion. it will inflame the thought, ignite, or it is very powerful energy, feeling, emotion, bhav. So what I repeatedly feel, I will experience its impact on my system. So now what are we repeatedly feeling on an everyday basis? Fear, anger. चैतन्य तो मने रही अवस्था. So conditioning the mind to feel positively. That is why I said elevating literature. Bhakti bhav, seva bhav, ekta parashparar proti bhalobasha, kindness, compassion, feeling, positive feeling. This has to be consciously practiced every day. তাই না? সেই জন্য দেখুন আমাদের ইভেন আওয়ার গ্র্যান্ড প্যারেন্টস ইউজ টু ডু ইট। সকালে উঠে প্রথম হলো ঠাকুর ঘরে গিয়ে কিছু একটা ওখানে করা, তাই না? শিবলিঙ্গ থাকে, তাকে তার মাথায় জল দিয়ে ফুল দিয়ে সাজানো। ফার্স্ট 1 hour of the morning invested in very high level emotional energy, ওই ভাব নিয়ে তারপর চলা। সময় পেলে ওই বসে ওই পারায়ণ বলে না, ওইগুলো পড়তে। But have we done that? No. Shakale utte internet or television. So somebody's thought process, which may be very low, very vulgar even, is impinging on your mind right from the morning. Some form of change in life regulation. On this we insist. Even for students, some form of regulation of everyday life activities, so very important to mind management. সকালে একটা সাত্বিক ভাব যেন আমরা ক্রিয়েট করতে পারি মনের মধ্যে, একটা পজিটিভ ভাব। If you can do it with the family, even better. কিন্তু অনেক ক্ষেত্রে ওটা হয় না, এটলিস্ট নিজের মতন ওই একটু সময় রাখতে হয় এগুলোর জন্য। So this is so very important because what you repeatedly feel, you will experience. ওই কল্পতরুর গল্প আছে না, ঠাকুরও বলেছেন মন কিন্তু কল্পতরু, তাই না? তো ওটার উপর একটা গল্প আছে। একটা উড কাটার, সে ফরেস্টে যাচ্ছে আর ওখানে অনেক কাঠ কেটেছে, সব জোগাড় করে রেখেছে এখন, কিন্তু খুব টায়ার্ড হয়ে গেছে, দুপুর হয়েছে, তো ওখানে একটু শুয়ে পড়লো একটা গাছের নিচে। দেন একটু পরেই ওর মনে হলো বাবা এই গ্রাউন্ড কত আনইভেন আছে, আরে তো সব আমার এখানে ব্যথা ওখানে ব্যথা, কি করবো? একটু একটা ভালো সমান গ্রাউন্ড, ভেরি প্লেন সারফেস পেলে কি ভালো হতো, একটা বেড যদি আমাকে কেউ দিত এখানে, তো সত্যি করে একটা বেড এসে গেল, খুবই সুন্দর একটা রয়্যাল বেড। আরে কি ভালো, তারপর ওটার উপরে শুয়ে পড়েছে, ভালো কি জানি কি হচ্ছে, কিন্তু আমি এই যে চিন্তা মাত্রই এটা এসে গেল। তারপর ভাবো বাবা একটু খিদে পাচ্ছে, যদি কিছু খাবার থাকতো, একেবারে খুবই ভালো ডিশেস ওর সামনে সামনে এসে গেছে। ইটস রিয়েলি ইজ ওয়ান্ডারস্ট্রাক, এটা কি হচ্ছে। তো বসে খেতে আরাম করলো। তারপর যদি কিছু ড্রিঙ্ক ভালো পাওয়া যায়, কিছু শরবত টরবত, তো একেবারে রয়্যাল ড্রিঙ্কস, নানা রকম ফ্রুট জুস আর স্প্রাইট, যা যা আপনি ভাবতে পারেন ওটা সব, ওয়াইন্স, এগুলো সবই এসে গেছে। তো ও ভাবছে আরে আমি যেটা ভাবছি সেটাই সামনে এসে গেছে, কি অবস্থা। একটু আমার কিন্তু পা হাত পা ব্যথা করছে, কেউ যদি টিপে দেয় একটু, তো একেবারে একটা লাইন অফ সার্ভেন্টস ওকে সেবা করার জন্য এসে গেল। তো যা ভাবছে তাই হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তারপর হঠাৎ বলা আরে বাপরে আমি যেটাই ভাবছি সেটা হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এত সুখে আছে, কিন্তু এখানে যদি একটা বাঘ এসে যায় এখন, যেটা যেই ওটা ভেবেছে না, হি আউট অফ হিজ ফিয়ার বইয়ের কানে রিপিট করেছে ওই থট, ইউ বাস বাঘ এসে গেল, ওর উপর লাফিয়ে বিক্ষে। কেন ও কল্পতরুর নিচে বসেছিল, ও জানে না সেটা। ওই গাছ যেটা ছিল না ওখানে, ওই ফরেস্ট, কল্পতরু ছিল না, তো ওটা নিচে বসে আছে, যাই ভাবছে হয়ে যাচ্ছে। এখন the mind is the কল্পতরু, ঠাকুর বলছে মনই কল্পতরু, আমাদের মন, তার নিচে আমরা বসে আছি না সারাক্ষণ। ও আমাদের thought process will create our experiences of life. Remember, life does not create thought. Thought creates life. Repeat করছি, life does not create thought. Thought creates life because you are a conscious human being. This does not apply to animals, but for you it applies because this mechanism has been created like that. Your thought will create your life. Your life does not create your thoughts. So don't waste your mental energies in stupid thinking, negativity, overthinking, ওটা একটা নেগেটিভ ভাব নিয়ে বসে থাকা। What you repeatedly think it will happen. কেন মনেই কল্পতরু। If you know how to take charge of your thought and handle your thought process, as we handle objects, you can do anything in the world. সেই জন্য স্বামীজি বললেন, যোগী, একজন যোগী যদি ওই হিমালয়ান কেভে বসে 5টা চিন্তা, 5 thoughts, if he thinks, those thoughts will have the power to come and flood society, change the minds of people, because he's a yogi. His thought has that power. It is backed by immense awareness. So it is possible through your conscious thought process to take charge of your life. Because thoughts create life, life does not create thoughts. এটা ভালো করে digest করে নিন। My life is in my hands. For young people, this is like it is a brew to give strength. Swamiji's words, na? It is actually invigorating জিনিস। কেন এতদিন আমাকে অনেক স্টুডেন্টস এটা বলেছে, এতদিন আমরা ভাবতাম সত্যি আমাদের লাইফ ইজ নট ইন আওয়ার হ্যান্ডস, বাট দিস, দ্যাটস ওয়াই দিস প্রিন্সিপলস অফ পজিটিভ থিঙ্কিং আর ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। Check your own life and see. If your thought was in your hands, wouldn't your life be in your hands? এখানে আমরা হেরে যাই because we don't believe that our thinking can change our circumstances. It will change. This is the law. বারবার একটা জিনিস ভাবতে থাকলে, see what you are doing, you are changing the thought currents around you powerfully if you can do it. আর যদি যোগ শক্তি থাকে আরো এটা কাজ করে। You are changing the thought currents around you. According to thought is object in front of you. দেখুন এই সমস্ত objects যেটা আমরা এখানে দেখছি, were they not thoughts in somebody's mind initially? Were they thought initially? তারপরে এতটা দরকার ছিল যে ওটা অবজেক্ট হলো। We create objects through thought mechanism. So also your today's thoughts will become your life tomorrow. The objects around you tomorrow. তো আজকে আমরা তাহলে কি ভাবছি, that is your future. Please understand. Astrologer কাছে যেতে হবে না to know your future. What you are thinking today and repeatedly, that will be your future. So take this much into your hands. कि আমি নিষ্ঠা করে এটলিস্ট এভরি মর্নিং অ্যান্ড ইভিনিং কনসিয়াসলি এই জিনিসটা ভাববো, আমি ঠাকুরমা স্বামীজির কথা ভাববো, আমি এইটা নিয়ে থাকবো। I will commit myself to the higher values of life. And I will keep a check on my thought process. কখনোটা brooding এ যাচ্ছে, overthinking এ যাচ্ছে, some form of negativity তে যাচ্ছে, I keep a check. Because what I repeatedly think, I will become. What I repeatedly feel, I will experience. আর একটা প্রিন্সিপাল আছে, the third principle. वो what I repeatedly imagine. আরেকটা সংজ্ঞা লিখে দিস। I will create. I will create. বাপরে। সাংঘাতিক জিনিস। What I repeatedly imagine, I am going to create it in some form in my life. So I create my circumstances, I create my situation. Our contribution काके होता है? You know, I mean repeatedly जेटा see vital energy expression কোনো thought, highest expression of vital energy, the vitality in your system. प्राण शक्ति जेटा আমরা বলি, ওটা highest expression is thought. How I use that thought will determine my life. কেন আমার এনার্জি ওটা থেকে আছে তো ওটা কাজ করে। Thought is the highest energy you are capable of expressing. Don't think only physical energy is energy. Thought energy is subtle energy. The subtler a thing, the more powerful it is. তাই না? দেখুন এত পুরো কাঠ পোড়ালে কতটা এনার্জি আপনি পাবেন, আর ওই অ্যাটমকে ভাঙলে how much of energy? Whatever is subtle gives you far greater energy. So your thought mechanism is the most subtle thing about you. It will release enormous energy if you know how to handle it. Otherwise, উল্টো chain reaction হতে পারে, তাই না? So you must know this. What you repeatedly imagine, you will create. So now check your imagination. Everyday basis এ কোথায় যাচ্ছে? You are investing vitality in what? প্রাণ শক্তির বাজে খরচ করলে লাইফ বাজে হয়ে যায়। প্রাণ শক্তিকে really if you maintain it at a higher level, life will become like that. Because your life follows your thought. Thought does not follow life. Human being money, that cognition, cognitive capacity is so well developed, it overpowers everything. So your thought decides your life. This is only for the human being. আর কোনো প্রাণী এটা করতে পারে। They are creatures of emotion, creatures of habit, creatures of just instinct. And আমরাও ওটাই করতে থাকলে what difference is there? Through my thought, I can change anything in this world. If you deeply understand these principles, you will never suffer negativity. Please understand this. এই প্রিন্সিপলস ভালো করে আমরা স্টাডি করে বুঝে নিলে ওই যে ভিডিও আমি বললাম that kind of positive thinking, I will tell you for the next 1 week you watch it. Every day let these principles go into your head. You will not suffer from negativity. কেননা at once you will become aware, আরে বারবার এটা রিপিট করলে আমারই ক্ষতি, না তা থেকে আমি I will do something else with my mind. This has helped enormous people. This in fact has gone into the highest number of views. কিছু মাসের মধ্যে more than million views. Because this is so important. These are all principles of yoga psychology কিন্তু। Learn to use your thought wisely, thought power. That is intelligence. তো দেখুন এখন এই বৃত্তিগুলো নিয়ে আমরা এটা সব বুঝলাম। At least my বৃত্তিস I should be able to keep them positive. Actual yoga avastha is far higher than all this actually. It is about transcending thought and uncovering awareness. কিন্তু এটা খুব দূরের কথা, এটা সবার জন্য নয়। But these principles are fundamental, common. Every mind should know it. They are not common. We should make them common. They are not known and recognized. একটা আছে law of attraction বলা হয় ওটাকে, which means you attract into your life what you want. কিন্তু that has been put down by science कि এরকম কিছু একটা extra physical law নেই. That's why I am not putting law of attraction here. They have their own reasons for that. This is from yoga psychology, what I'm telling you. And this is a science. It a scientist raw accept correct. All IITs are using this principles. So don't doubt it. Try it and see yourself. Try it and see. आज के आपने एक experiment करे देखो. Today, what you think again and again. आज सकाले एक class बोलो तो आज throughout the day, what you are thinking, just keep a little check over that. And at night, what was your predominant thought? ওটা check করে দেখো. Was it one of fear, or was it anger, or was it some ভালো emotion, love, kindness, or was it এগুলো নিয়ে চিন্তা করলাম, এগুলো নিয়ে ভাবছি সারাদিন? Predominant thought কি ছিল এটা রাত্রি চেক করো. And if the same thing is repeated a few times, কালকেও যদি এটা নিয়ে ভাবলেন, তাহলে you will see after some time this has become your own. মন ওইভাবে ওই ঘুরেই যাবে. You have become like that. When we miss out these essential facts of life, কি হয়? Unconsciously thought process চলতে থাকে. কোথায় আমাদের নিয়ে যাচ্ছে কিছু আইডিয়াই নেই, তাই না? অনেকবার আমরা এটা জিজ্ঞাসা করি, are you thinking or is thinking happening? Are you thinking? Usually the answer is no. Thinking is happening. So this is telling you, now you take charge of your thought. ইচ্ছে করে dwell on positivity, because what I repeatedly think I will become. ভালো ভালো ভাব নিয়ে থাকলে ওটাই আবার হয়ে যাবে. The best way to change the mind, the content of the mind. Deliberately I will not focus on the negative. Deliberately. इच्छा करे. So gradually the content of your mind is going to change. So with these three principles of positive thinking, you can change anything in your life. So nobody is condemned to live a sorrowful, sad life. If you do that, it is your own doing. See, joy is your nature. Misery is your making. এটা বুঝতে পারছেন? এটা মানে happiness is your nature. It is the nature of your being, Atman. And whatever misery, sorrow, it is your making of your mind. কেন এই প্রিন্সিপলস জানা ছিল না? Once you have taken this down, I will go to one more point, but if you have any questions on this, please ask. Which one?
আমি একটা কিছু ইমাজিন করছি, ক্রিয়েট করতে চাইছি, কিন্তু আমারই মানে আরো অন্য কেউ হয়তো অন্য কিছু ইমাজিন করছে, ক্রিয়েট করতে চাইছে, বাট দুটো অপোজিট। তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে মানে কি হতে পারে সিচুয়েশন?
Yes, the one who will apply more thought, তার মানে the imagination jar বেশি পাওয়ারফুল সে ওটা ঠিক ঠিক ক্রিয়েট করবে। দেখুন যখন একজন পেইন্টার কিছু এই পেইন্টিং দেখুন do you know how it is created? First it is in his mind, the painter's mind ও পুরো কি করতে চায় ওটা ক্লিয়ার করে না, তারপর ওই মাইন্ডের ওই এক্সাক্ট ওই বৃত্তি ও যেন ডাউনলোড করে ক্যানভাসে। That's why his hand moves according to the picture in his mind. Right now? Even sculpture is like that. প্রথম ওর মনের মধ্যে একেবারে পরিষ্কার কি করতে চাইছে ওটা, মনে করুন বুদ্ধের স্কাল্পচার করছে, it will be very clear to the last detail, this is how I want to see it, make it. তারপর যখন স্টোন ওর সামনে থাকে, he will only chip off what is not in his mind. তাই না? He will remove from the block of stone what is not in his mind. That is how he creates the statue. So see, it is all mind. What you repeatedly imagine, you will create. The intensity of your imagination will make the thing exact.
What would be the difference between repeatedly think and repeatedly imagine?
Yes, imagination also is nothing but thought. Okay, but only thing is it has the added advantage of many things, because it may not be a true thought. Just you are imagining something. Okay, it is not based on anything. Imagination can be a flying imagination, but you will create it by imagining it. Thought may be structured. You might have heard it somewhere. It might be somebody's thought. It might be your original thinking based on certain parameters. But imagination is not like that. Imagination is a special kind of thought which helps you create. So what you will empower, that you will experience.
So the thing can be this, that suppose I am seeing something and I have an opinion about it. That is my thought. And imagine can be that after seeing that, maybe I am wondering that okay, this can be this. Like it doesn't have that structure.
Yes.
But when it's a thought is basically my opinion on that.
Yes.
That's how we can, I mean I'm asking this question because if we apply this to the students, then we need to, because it's a very hairline difference between think and imagine. So for young learners, it would be helpful if that can be differentiated.
Yeah, usually what happens with the thought processes, it is conditioned by certain parameters. But one person's imagination has absolutely no boundaries. So creative people are very imaginative, not very thoughtful.
What I was thinking that suppose I'm thinking in terms of negative thought, because I have to fight against negativity. So I'm taking the opposite position and I'm thinking that suppose I'm thinking about some incidents or something and holding someone responsible for that, but it is not, it is imagination. It is not the reality. And so we sometimes use imagination in some non-creative sense also. And this is driven by emotional reasoning. And so my consciousness is not, clearly assessed by myself. I'm thinking I am conscious, but I'm not conscious. I'm taking things, I'm imagining things, and I'm not verifying whether these things are going with the circumstantial factors or not, and so I'm imagining and I'm entertaining negative thought.
Exactly. আমরা এটাই করি।
Because most of the time I have seen that people are unhappy because their basic premise is imagined wrong.
Exactly. এটাকে বলা হয়
Because
বিপর্যয়।
very
See, there is one word in yoga psychology, viparjaya bole. This is how it is written. This is wrong knowledge generated by vritti. Imagine, vritti should ideally generate true knowledge, valid knowledge. But it can also generate this when it is as she is saying. deep level bias, prejudice, all this also can happen. Our Ottawa Vritti Gnani. If your memory is impinge on your thought, and memories are clouded with so many ideas of the past, then we thought bhuliye jayega. It can generate false knowledge. Upajay money, false knowledge. So that is why that thought which is untinged by memory, that will work magic. You must know where to keep memory. Jekono generation you see it without memory, it will reveal a different knowledge altogether. Freshly देखते हैं, जो भी यही भाव ही देखे. Every human face gives him delight because he's seen. See, your eyes are windows for the light of your soul. He's seen it like that. Right now. So he sees only awareness. But I am seeing through the lens of my mind, which is tinged by my memory, which may have a different concept of you, based on some past experience. So I don't see that at all. When you bring in memory, it will distort perception.
So we are basically trying to separate thought from memory.
Yes. The yogi always does that. But ordinarily, a trained mind child, then you will see everything fresh and it will reveal a different level of knowledge. नहीं तो एकेबारे contaminated by memory. Thought is.
Then I have a question so that because we always encourage increase in exposure.
Yes.
And more exposure means more
More
storage
memory.
in memory.
Yes.
And generally, more exposed the person is, can deal with different situation better.
Yes.
Because they can relate to the commonness or familiarity with their past experience. They
Correct.
fall back on their memory, and generally it is possible for them to use it in a very positive way and throw better perspective on something and enable them to show it in different light. So falling back on memory and tying the thought with memory is sometimes very useful also.
Yeah. Everyone is doing it actually. Kintu Jinesh holo এখন দেখুন, what you see as memory, and if you are using your thought tied up with memory, it applies to objects and knowledge of the external world. It does not exactly apply to people. And the knowledge which we are speaking of, if this remains, the thought process remains untinged by memory, it will see something else there. So a subjective knowledge এর জন্য এটা দরকার, but for objective knowledge always you will use memory. It will get mixed up with your thought process. There is no question about that.
There can be good memory also.
Yeah, there can be good memories, of course.
So this is basically subjective and objective.
Yes, in subjective sciences, we consider this partition between thought process and memory just to refine thought and keep out bias. In fact, yoga was
I'm just interrupting. So basically, I think that as I understand in layman's language, more than memory, I can call it bias maybe. Because if it's a bias, then I can prove it more like a negative thing.
Correct. Memory that leads to bias, that's what I mean. And why we are using this kind of language here is, usually this knowledge in all these circles which are studying it very intensely, they are using it to get into the yoga avastha. They are not using it as, like, see, a student may use it for mind management and all this, but they are using it, especially in the West, They are using this knowledge in order to understand the value of yoga and the state it will produce finally. So for them all this matters. See, in a different light they are going to see this, isn't it? ওরা এটাকে প্র্যাকটিক্যালি আমি কেমন ইউজ করবো, এখানে শুধু ওটা দেখছে না, এটার তাৎপর্য কি? So what does it finally lead to? There are scores of people who are doing research on that. So for them, then all this becomes very important. See, unraveling pure consciousness. এটা শুধু আমি বলে রাখছি, whatever you may get out of it. Unraveling pure consciousness, এটাকে আত্মবস্তু বলে. It is impossible if there's intervention of memory. That is why emptying mind is the technique. সেই জন্যে এইভাবে বলা হয়। But just now that is not our purpose, isn't it? So we will bring this knowledge into mind management realm and see what we can do. Yoga is an enormous tool for transformation, and yoga psychology is the most profound psychology possible. Oda ke baad diye Freudian, what we are doing I really don't know. That's why I have told this in many institutes that the next generation of psychologists should have contemplative psychology integrated with all levels of psychology. Positive psychology connecta esche, into contemplative psychology is even deeper. And the more it comes, the more you will understand that what Freud said or what even Jung and Adler said, that applies to one part of mind and a kind of mind. So we have other kinds of minds also. A very refined mind. এখন দেখুন স্বামীজির mind, Vivekananda's mind. Even a little bit, if you can understand, you will get charged with his energy. Now, this is a possibility. Why should I only study the sick mind, the depressed mind, and call that psychology? The mind which is entrenched in lust, and call that psychology? ওটা মুক্ত, কাম মুক্ত মন তো হতে পারে, তাই না? Freudian thought এটাই হয়েছে. He has put all of humanity into one section. It's not like that. So that is why it is important to bring these principles into mainstream. Psychology is everything, please remember. Study of mind is ultimate. What you think you are going to become and create and experience. So it is so very important for these principles to filter into mainstream academia at these levels. Shejane emphasis is going on all this. Our government has NEP আছে না, new education policy. তাকে ওরা insist করেছে কিন্তু Indian knowledge systems have to come into academia in any way. It has to come either as separate courses, if the university is very good, then as a department in itself, or integrated with psychology, or integrated in some other way, like Rishi would go like the university they are creating template course. It's a short 3-month course which the students can take every weekend, and giving them a full introduction to yoga psychology and some basics of Vedanta. And every student of Rishikut will take it. Whether you are medicine or pharmacy or management or arts or science or anything, you will take this course. Over the weekend you will study this. So infinite possibilities are opening up, and we create the syllabus for all this. Our main cause was syllabus creation. Because what exactly they will study, who will know? No. Nobody has a PhD in contemplative psychology. Nobody knows the value of yoga psychology per se. সেই জন্য ওরা কালচারাল মিনিস্ট্রি আমাদের অ্যাপ্রোচ করলো, আর আমরা এটাই করছি ওখানে। We create the syllabus for these courses and we do FDPs, faculty development programs, so that the faculty is first sensitized to this knowledge. Therefore, they will filter it out into students. It is tailor cut according to the need of the university. It is not standardized. ওদের যেমন দরকার ওরকম করা, as much as they can digest and give pass on. So এগুলো সব চলছে. I think let us proceed to the next thing about the mental money management. So your homework is you will see miracle of positive thinking for some time and digest this fully. কেননা at least in this group শুধু শুধু negativity and ভালো লাগছে না এগুলো should not happen with our lives, practical lives, because now we know that there is a way to change. Thought process के নিজের হাতে রাখতে হয় deliberately. Even if you are in a situation you don't like, see practically let us discuss this. Suppose I'm in a situation I don't like, সারাক্ষণ negativity চলছে, যা খুশি বলছে, critical environment. Still in my mind, এগুলোকে বলা হয় positive affirmations. In my mind, if I keep rotating, all is well. মা আছে, or whatever your belief, সব ভালো হবে. My mind is with me, God is with me, what can be against me? Everything will be well. My thought is in my hands. If you just keep repeating this, oh, the strength and energy you will get. It's really magical. আমার মনে আছে এই যে কোভিড রিলিফ যখন হলো না, অনেকবার অনেক জায়গায় গিয়ে করতে হতো, তো সবারই একটা আতঙ্ক ছিল, বিকজ দোজ প্লেসেস ওয়ার নোটোরিয়াস অ্যান্ড ফেমাস ফর কোভিড অ্যান্ড অলসো মানে ওখানে সব if you go into slums and all that, what happens is people can simply attack you and take away whatever you want. ওই রকম সিচুয়েশনস ছিল তো, so that time this is what we made that whole team practice. All will be well. This is a positive work. God is giving us, all will be well. যে কোনো সিচুয়েশনে এই রকম পজিটিভ এফার্মেশনস করতে থাকলে your energy will be maintained. It will not go down. আর মনে একটা সুন্দর ভাব নিয়ে আমরা কাজ করি. Our mind only damages, sabotages our efforts. Usually by going on brooding negatively. তাই না? দেখেছেন এটা? যে কোনো সিচুয়েশনে before anything even happens, it will start. The internal dialogue will start negatively. So take charge of this. नहीं तो एकेबारे you are always blaming the outside and nothing constructive has been done within yourself. ওই আমি বললাম না মার্ক টুয়েনের কথা, my life is full of disasters, most of which never happened. This is the meaning. ভেবে ভেবে সব জীবন में उल्टा पलटा भेजे. So it will help us overcome all that. Now I want to just suggest a few more things. Vritti sambandhe. Practically, see, when we say vrittis generate sanskar, what is sanskar? Definition बोलते हैं sanskar. ये तो important concept है. हमरा बोलते थे कि है ना sanskar is everything. What is a sanskar? बोलो.
Our values.
Our
Values.
हाँ, values. Values are included.
This is in our subconscious. We don't know that we have, but it is in us.
Correct. Seed form of impressions. This sense. आपने कुछ बोला? बोलो नहीं, this is a interactive class.
না আমি চিন্তা করছিলাম যে আপনি আজকে এরকমভাবে বলছেন, কিন্তু এই জিনিসগুলো আমাদের মুর্শিদাবাদ মাতাজি বা সুতপনা কত সুন্দরভাবে ছোট ছোটভাবে বলে দিয়েছিলেন। ঘুম থেকে উঠে বিছানা ছাড়ার আগে অন্তত 15 মিনিট জব ধ্যান করি, এবং সেখানে তুমি চিন্তা করবে তুমি কি করতে পারো আজকে। এই যে একটা জিনিসকে করা। আর আরেকটা আপনি বলছিলেন যে আমরা যেটা চিন্তা করি, বিশ্বাস নিয়ে যাওয়া, সেটা কিন্তু হয়। আমি আমার প্র্যাকটিক্যাল লাইফে দেখেছি। আমি এমন একটা জায়গায় কাজ করতাম যেখানে ভীষণ বাজে ধরনের নিয়ম ছিল। লাস্টের দিকে এরকম হতো, আমার ম্যানেজমেন্ট বলতেন যে তুমি গিয়ে নেগোসিয়েশন করো, তোমার নেগোসিয়েশনে জানি না কেন ওটা ঠিক হয়ে যায়। তোমার একটা বিলিভ হতো যে আমার মনে হতো মাতাজি আমার সঙ্গে আছে, যা কিছু উনি করাবে আমি সেটাই করব। তো এই জিনিসগুলো কত ছোটভাবে আমাদেরকে মাতাজিরা আগে থেকে বলে রেখেছে, এটা হয় বলছে মনে হচ্ছিল যে জিনিসগুলো সত্যি সত্যি, এটা আমরা ইমাজিন করি সেটা হয়ে যায়। আমরা ইমাজিন করছি যেটা একটা ক্লোজ হবে খুব ভালো ভাবে, সত্যি জিনিসটা ক্লোজ হবে খুব ভালো ভাবে, এটা হয়। আর ওই যে আরেকটা যেটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে আমি একটা ইমাজিন করছি এটা হবে, আরেকজন ইমাজিন করছে যেটা হবে, কোনটা হবে, যেটা স্ট্রং সেটা হবে, সেটাও হতে দেখবে। সেটা আমি যেটা ইমাজিন করছি হয় না, কিন্তু অন্য যেটা করছে সে স্ট্রং ইমাজিন করছে সেটা হয়। এগুলো প্র্যাকটিক্যাল লাইফে হয়।
Because your thought currents will create the situation. তো ইম্পর্টেন্ট এটা দেখুন, আমরা যেটা দেখতে পারি না আমরা ওটাকে গৌণ মনে করি। The fact is the opposite. Whatever is subtle, you may not be able to, you can just sense it, you can't see it. But সেটা আরো powerful থাকে। তো সংস্কার মানে deep rooted impression, একটা seed thought which has capacity to give rise to enormous thought, values and emotion. Deep rooted হয়ে গেছে in your subconscious, ওটা বীজাকারে হয়েছে। এরকম কত রকমের সংস্কার গ্যাদার করে বসে আছি আমরা। ইনফ্যাক্ট স্বামীজি বলতেন ক্যারেক্টার ইজ নাথিং বাট এ বান্ডল অফ সংস্কারস। চরিত্র মানেই হলো ইট ইজ আ কালেকশন অফ ইয়োর সংস্কারস। যখন রিপিটেড থটে ওই জিনিসটা শব্দটা কনক্রিটাইজ হয়ে যায় ওটাকেই সংস্কার বলা হয়। আর ওটাই ইট ইজ দ্য বেসিস অফ ইয়োর ক্যারেক্টার। ক্যারেক্টার ইজ নট বিহেভিয়ার। এই মডার্ন সাইকোলজিতে এরকম উল্টো পাল্টা শেখায়। I am so surprised at how superficiality.
Behaviors are governed by sanskar.
Yes, behavior can be governed from within by sanskar. But ultimately, your behavior, see, you may be behaving very nicely, but bhitare gaj korche. Eta hote pare na, so your behavior is not the ultimate thing. Your sanskars are the ultimate thing about you. It's also not the ultimate thing about you, but at least that is deeper than just outer behavior. So, এই সংস্কারগুলো,
So, modern psychology always talks about behavior modification, but that would be very superficial.
Exactly, that's what I'm
Unless we
saying.
can put it down to.
শুধু এই বাইরে পলিশ করে হয়? This grooming, tooming, all আজকাল স্টেজে শেখায়, you are polishing the outside, it hardly matters. ভিতরে ভাব না পাল্টালে কিছুর মানে আছে? So সংস্কার is, that's where we should go finally. That is already in the subconscious. ওটাকে রিফাইন করে, ভালো করে, পজিটিভ করে, only it should be full of positivity of subconscious, not all types of sanskars. If there are all types, তাহলে কি হয়, যে কোনো সিচুয়েশনে your behavior can be unreliable. It will change as per parameters outside. If sanskars are very pure and fixed, your behavior is perfectly reliable. যে কোনো সিচুয়েশনে you know how to handle it, how to behave. এটা ধরতে পারছেন? See, behavior.
It will be perhaps a little challenging if we are dealing with adults, like they already
Exactly.
come with that deep-rooted thing, whatever. So when we are getting them, we are more like the behavior that we find, it's already a result of
Yes.
years of thought.
Yes, yes.
So that will be a little challenging.
It is best to drive all these ideas when they are young, best. কিন্তু কিভাবে ওটা করা যায় we don't know because school level-এ now value education all that is minimal. আমরা যখন ছোট ছিলাম যতটা ছিল এখন অতটাও নেই।
And in the family also, like different
Ah,
families of
family also,
parents,
yeah.
their thoughts can be also
Yeah, yeah.
different.
Till the age of 16, not now it is 14 only, the child is mainly influenced by parental values and family values. After that it is peer group, friends, their group and peer group. That will influence the child the most.
You know, what is the, how do you relate sanskar with propensity?
Sanskar generates propensities from within. Sanskars will generate propensity. Only thing is, sanskar will generate memory, sanskar will generate behavior, sanskar will generate propensity. So this is the key factor which should be very positive if mind management should become possible. Right na? তাই আমরা sanskar কি করে generate হয়? Already by repetition of rhythm, conscious thought. So no matter ভিতরে কি করা আছে, you can change it by conscious positive thinking. That's why today that is the gate. I can change it no matter what is there. কত সব গল্প আছে এটার উপরে না? You can change anything about a person. ওই ঠিক সংস্কার দিলে you can change anything. So a বড় debate আছে না? Nature and nurture. Nature nurture debate. Have you heard? In all philosophical circles that this debate takes place every year, every time. But yoga psychology has the final word about it. What is more important, nature or nurture? Nature mane, the way the child is brought up. Nurture mane the way the child is brought up, and nature mane what it already has. So what will be more important?
This is hereditary environment debate.
Yes. So nature is very important because you already come with sanskars. কেউ blank slate নিয়ে আসে না। যদিও আমরা বলি blank, আমরা blank slate দিয়ে এসেছি। We come with a whole lot of past sanskars. তাই না? মনের মধ্যে। See, in the same family, same environment, the attitudes of the children can be so different. ভাই বোনদের মধ্যে they can be so different. অথচ একই এনভায়রনমেন্ট আছে, একই ইমপ্রেশনস পড়ছে, কিন্তু ভিতর থেকে রিয়াকশনস আলাদা আলাদা আছে। একজন হয়তো খুব ভালো, আরেকজনের একটু মন্দবুদ্ধি আছে, কত কিছু থাকে না, propensities will be different. What they want to become, their ambitions will be different. Everything so much depends on what is within you rather than what is around you. এটা নিয়ে একটা খুব সুন্দর গল্প আছে, বলে আসে শেষ করব। This is a real story, but it is not just a story. একজন the story starts like this. একটা স্লামে দুজন ছেলে ছিল, they were brothers. একজন 5 years, একজন 7 years. Two small boys, they were brothers. আর ও বড় ছেলে কিছুতেই ওর ইন্টারেস্ট নেই, একেবারে এরকম একটা ভ্যাগাবন্ডের মতন ছিল। But this younger one was very, very, very sincere and serious type. The mother had died. মা ছিলেন না ওদের। আর father was a drunkard. স্লামে থাকতো না, মুম্বাইয়ের কোনো স্লামে থাকতো। আর father was যেহেতু drunkard, he would come home, ওদের খাওয়া দাওয়ার ব্যবস্থাই থাকতো না, মা নেই বলে কোনো রকমে এখানে ওখানে ওরা কিছু জোগাড় করে আনতো, বা এক একদিন বাবা আনতো, হয়তো কিছু আনতো না, and he would ব্যাটার দ্য চিলড্রেন যখন রাত্রি আসতো বাবা ছোট একটা হাটের মতন এটাতে থাকতো স্লামে থাকতো আর তাহলে পড়াশোনার তো কোনো চান্সই নেই এরকম ছিল কিন্তু এই ছোট ছেলেটি যেহেতু ও অন্য সংস্কারগুলো এটাই অন্য রকম সংস্কার ছিল বলে ও কোথায় কোথায় গিয়ে হি এডুকেটেড হিমসেলফ ওখানে কোথায় দূরে একটা স্লাম স্কুলের মতন ছিল ওখানে গিয়ে একটু পড়াশোনা করে 5th স্ট্যান্ডার্ড পাস করলো নিজে নিজে তারপর কেউ ওকে কারো সাহায্য নিয়ে SSLC এক্সাম দিল 5 বছর পরে আর ওটা খুব ভালো করলো সো দেন হি মানে so many people helped him and he supported himself through loans and all that ও শেষে MBA করে খুবই in flying colors আমেরিকায় গিয়ে একটা বড় কোম্পানির CEO হলো he did so well in life by the age of 32 he was a big business magnate বলে না he was a billionaire doing so well আর তারপর ওর বিরাট স্কলারশিপ ইনস্টিটিউট করে এই স্লাম চিলড্রেনকে সব সাহায্য করার অনেক বেতনের কাজ করেছে সো when he was about 40 or something like that ওকে এই একটা খুব ফেমাস ম্যাগাজিন আছে ওরা ইন্টারভিউ করেছে তো they asked him in that interview one of the questions was how did you become what you have become তো একটা চ্যালেঞ্জিং এনভায়রনমেন্ট থেকে আপনি এলেন how did you become what you have become so he said what else would you expect me to become with an environment like that it just pushed my inner energy towards achievement and becoming independent কেন আমি ওই বয়সেই আমি ভাবলাম I will not live a life like my father I will not live in this slum আমি এটা থেকে বেরিয়ে যাব সেই জন্য আমি নিজে গিয়ে নিজেকে এডুকেট করলাম আর I created the conditions required for my life to succeed and what else would you expect a boy to become whose father is like that whose environment is like that বলেছে এখন এই সেম ম্যাগাজিন গিয়ে ওর দাদাকেও ইন্টারভিউ করলো দাদা সে ও বাবার মতনই হলো he was in the same place he also became a drunkard এডুকেশনের দিকে যায়নি তো এরা গিয়ে ওকেও ইন্টারভিউ করেছে কি what made you what you have become তখন ও কি বলেছে জানেন what do you expect one to become with a father like that যার বাবা ওরকম যার সিচুয়েশন এরকম তার আর কি হবে দুজনেই একই কথা বলছে বুঝতে পারছেন এই আমেরিকার ছেলেও বললো যার বাবা ওরকম যার সার্কামস্টেন্স ওরকম ও আর কি করতে পারবে এও ওটাই বলছে দাদা যে স্লামে আছে so then the conclusion they came to was see what is important দুজনই একই সার্কামস্টেন্সেস একই nurture although there is nothing called nurture here and একই environment একই influences but একজন এত মহান হয়েছে একজন কোথায় একদম পড়ে আছে what is important the attitude the inner sanskar this is paramount nurture comes later what is within you is more important than what is around you outside this story proves this ও যে দাদা ছিল drunkard he never wanted to come out of the circumstances আর ওখানে রয়ে গেল আর বেরিয়ে এলো এত জনকে এখন সাহায্য করছে so you see everything depends on how you have handled your the outside will work as per your
So it is the support of the first principle of positivity.
correct sanskars generated by repeated thought define you define your character and personality
There is this biography of a Indian sensation
She is the only lady who has climbed Everest twice. Okay, so she's born in a small Punjabi village, and she was forced to get married at the age of 16. So she went to Delhi. She gathered some money, she went to Delhi, and she educated herself. Okay, and she wanted, like, to go higher up in life. So she said, no, I won't be like the other village girls. I will be myself. So she says, if you have positive thoughts, then you can definitely change the people around you. You don't have to fall into that pit. You see, it's a living example.
Living example. Wait, there's a saying, two men looked out of prison bars, one saw the mud, the other saw the stars. সবাই যেন প্রিজনে আছে কিন্তু তার মধ্যে দেখি দেখছি where I focus my mind